One thing that I've recently heard that really struck me was the idea that safety is an illusion. And when I heard this statement, I was like, safety is an illusion, yet safety is something that we seek out a lot. Especially as women, we seek out lots of safety. And when I felt more into it, something that came up was, since safety is an illusion, if this is a belief that we choose to hold now, what isn't an illusion? Right? The way that we make decisions, the people that we choose to interact with, right? It's from a belief that we are seeking out safety. But if what we're seeking out is false, something that is not real, something that should not be measured, if what we are seeking is not real, why do we keep seeking it? Why do we keep running towards something that isn't real? And what are we running from? We're running from trauma, we're running from injustice, we're running from, ancestral lines and perceived curses and things like that. And we are running to quote unquote safety. And then that made it seem to me that safety is not the finish line. It's not even the start. Like, safety is a shortened goal. It is a shortened goal without actual benefits, actual reproducible wins. Safety is false. But what is true? Your trauma, your triggers, your losses, your failures, your history, your ancestry, that's real, right? What is also real? Your wins, your manifestations, your desires, your goals. So if we think of it from a start line to a finish line, our past selves, our old selves, our current selves are our start line, and where we want to go, our future selves, our quantum selves are our finish line. And if we're seeking out safety, we're running a different race. It's an immeasurable finish line because it's not the actual finish line. Because to actually get to your manifestation, to actually get to where you want to go, to actually be who you want to be, to actually live the life you are meant to have, you have to do it from a place where safety is an illusion. Where safety is something that you've already passed, and it's not something that you think about as often because it was never a part of the race. Safety is not even a leg of the race to you because you already have safety. You've become safe to yourself, to your body, to your nervous system, to your mind, to your inner child. You've done safety. You have safety. You are safe to self. That is something that is intangible, yet is very much needed. The mindset that safety gives you is what is needed to finish the race. You cannot start from your past and not be safe and say that you finished it. No, you won't be able to even run the race if you don't feel safe with your traumas, your past, your triggers, your ancestral lines, your past and current self, if you don't feel safe with those things, not processing them, just safe with them, safe just being in the space of them, safe in the environment in which you created where they are held, safe in your mind, safe in your body, safe in your heart, safe in your gut, you won't be able to run the race. If you don't buy into the illusion of safety, you will never run the race. You'll just be stuck at the start line, wondering why life hasn't started for you. Because you're playing it safe. You're living in this la safe world. You're expecting safety from someone or something or a job or an experience when it was all an illusion. You create safety for yourself. You encapsulate and put on the helmet of safety so you can run the risky race of life, so you can actually be seen and go through your triggers, go through your fear, because you feel safe within yourself, right? Why is it always said to you to actually do deeper healing work on yourself? You have to first feel safe. Why is that a repeated course of action? You cannot heal, you cannot process, you cannot ascend in an unsafe environment. And it's not a physically, it's both a physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually unsafe environment. People get stuck on the physical safety. If you are not mentally and emotionally and spiritually safe, you can still never truly process, heal, and ascend your triggers, your traumas, your core beliefs, because you don't feel safe. You're still worried about how to attain physical, mental, emotional, spiritual safety. Like, where are you going to lay your head? Like, where you're going to eat? Like, where you're going to work? Like, what if something happens at work? All these thoughts start running through your mind. Ruminations of the past. Like the emotional burdens and the emotional thoughts you and feelings you have related to the things you did in your past or the things you're currently doing. Like the spiritual safety of being seen by whatever God, by whatever deity, by whatever oneness, both internal and external, that you subscribe to. If you are not spiritually safe, you can act like this whole conversation doesn't even matter to even go through the next, to go to the finish line. You're not even at the starting line. So when people say safety is an illusion, it's with the assumption that you are already safe. That you have made it known to yourself what safe means, feels like, thinks like, looks like, and is spiritually sound enough to see and feel safety in all fronts, in all facets of your life. Because the moments where you feel unsafe, you know you feel unsafe, and you can pinpoint why you feel unsafe, what the trigger is, why it's now taking you out of equilibrium, why you now have this full body rush of, whoa, I'm very aware. I'm very, very aware. Your hair is standing up on your body. You cannot sleep well because you are unsafe. Imagine remaining unsafe for long periods of time, that you just wire yourself into this hyper state of mind and you have never experienced safety before. And then you're listening to someone telling you to manifest, to change your core beliefs, to process your triggers and do the inner work and heal. And you start doing some of the practices, you start doing some of the journaling, you start doing some of the meditations. But you know why it will never penetrate? It will never penetrate because your nervous system is at a heightened state of unsafety and you've normalized it for so long. Small little journaling, small little meditations, these small little things, little acts of service you do for yourself are gonna chip away at it for sure. It's gonna just chip away at it much, much, much slower than actively deciding beyond yourself, outside of the unsafety, and saying, I am very, 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 very unsafe, and I need to do something very radical, consistent, and routine enough to get me to a state of safety in a good and healthy amount of time, but not a 10-year timeline, not even a 5-year timeline. Is therapy the answer? Yes. But the greatest thing and the worst thing about therapy and anything else you choose to do in your life, whatever you put in is what you get out. So you actually have to do the work to bring everything up to the surface. And that is the hardest part. The hardest part of changing your mental and nervous system rewiring from unsafety to deciding it's okay to be safe now, right? It's not even that you're safe. It's just deciding to be safe now is allowing your nervous system to release the actual floodgates of what it has held up and tightened you up for. To actually experience the things that you probably haven't experienced and you haven't thought about for a long period of time, and they just happen. In your mind, you probably didn't even think two things of it, right? Oh yeah, so-and-so did this and this, and then yeah. But then when you actually decide to actually be safety for yourself, you swiftly realize, oh, that's not how it actually went down. No, it's way more nefarious. It was way more malicious. And it had very, very long, insidious tentacles that have pulled at my soul, and now we're here. No one ever says the first couple of years of actually doing the deep work to becoming regulated, to becoming safety for yourself, that shit is not fun. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's fun. It's not fun. It's not fun reliving childhood traumas. It's not fun reliving ancestral traumas. It's not fun talking to people, parents, grandparents, guardians, protectors, people in your life to guide you, and realizing that they had no clue what the fuck they were doing. No, it's not fun. But if you don't do this work for yourself, by yourself now, you will keep running into situations, relationships, friendships, jobs, other encounters with other people, feeling like a homeless dog, begging everyone to give you safety, hoping for safety, praying for safety. Oh, I just want to find someone who's stable, someone who just, right? The bare minimum, because safety is what? The bare minimum. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, safety is what? The bare minimum. So you're expecting the bare minimum from people, and that's why the idea of safety is an illusion just hit me so hard. And I was like, I need to talk to the girlies about this, because especially in relationships, if you keep expecting a relationship or the relationship or your future marriage or your actual marriage or your hopes and dreams of a marriage to give you safety, an illusion, a falsehood, it's because if you're seeking out safety from other people, it's because you are not safe to yourself. You are not safe to yourself. Anything you seek outside of yourself is because you are not giving it to yourself. You are not safe to yourself, so you're hoping someone else will take on the mental, physical, emotional load of safety of you and wrap it in a package and call it a spouse, call it a significant other, call it a job, call it mothering, call it fatherhood, call it friendship. You're expecting someone else outside of you to do a job that you got to do for yourself. And predators, people who actually want to see you hurt, actually want to maliciously hurt you. Oh yeah, you are their prey, honey. You're their prey. You're the thing that they can't get rid, they fiend for. It's almost as crazy as I hear some women say. I understand what they mean, but still, like, the statement in itself is a double-edged sword of some women who are like, I just want to be in a relationship where I get to turn off my brain. At first, it sounds like, oh yeah, but the longer you sit with it, it's like, oh no. You are really saying, what I feel like the actual equivalent to that, the healthy equivalent to that, the desired equivalent to that of, instead of saying, I want to be in a relationship where I get to turn off my brain, well, you actually want to say, I want to be in a relationship where my brain is not easily triggered due to small things, due to insignificant things, right? Because what you take as a brain turn off, I take it as brain is like in sleep mode, brain is at rest, brain is in peace, right? I don't want my brain to shut off, I'm dead. I want my brain to stay on and be on, but I don't want the hyper alertness of my brain. I don't want the hyper vigilance of my brain. That is the actual statement. But since you are so turned on to a level 1000.222%, you want your brain fully turned off to be in a relationship. That's your desired state. Because there is no such thing as brain at rest, brain in awareness, brain in hyper awareness, brain actively alert and acting. You have blown through the different stepping stools of your brain, of your nervous system, because you are just on always active alert. So you're seeking someone to totally turn that shit off. The problem is, once that shit is turned off, you are dead. And once you find yourself in that relationship, you are actually dead. You are seeking safety outside of yourself, and you want someone to be in control of your safety, of your decisions. Yes, as beautiful as that sounds, we also need to say with our chest that we don't do that for ourselves. So how are we supposed to expect someone else to do it for us who is not seeking out something bad? A good person, someone who's not a predator, will not even do it for you because that's unhealthy. A good person will say, hey, I've noticed that you are expecting a lot from me right now, and I would love to do it for you. However, for the longevity of this relationship, I cannot keep making you feel this way. You got to pick up your share. Because if we're being so emotionally honest, the emotional burden of many relationships is usually on the women, as well as the spiritual and the mental burden. And what you want is someone to share in that. Why would you fully pass it on to someone else? Because that's what a lot of relationships you see are now is fully passed on to the women. And they're suffering because it's a lot of weight. Caring about someone else's safety as well as your own, too much weight. I mean, people struggle to even do it with their children. Too much weight. So, seek out your inner answers around, are you safe? Am I safe to myself? Is safety an illusion, or is safety a real thing that I still seek out actively? And if I'm seeking out safety in a relationship, what is that saying? Where am I what am I trying to hide from? Where am I running to? Where am I coming from? Because if you are always safe within yourself, or majority of the time you hold the safety that you want and have and experience in your own self, in your own actions, like you make yourself feel safe, you will easily attract two types of people. One, the people who are also safe within themselves, so naturally you mutually create safety between each other because you two are coming in safe. Or people who are so unsafe that it triggers the mess out of you so quickly, that fake false butterfly nonsense, and you don't talk to them again because they are so unsafe. Yeah, those are only types of two people. But when you are not safe in your body, you're meeting everyone. You're meeting the plethora. I hope you're also recognizing the more work you do, the more inner work, the more mental unloading, the more core belief restructuring you do, the more you actually deeply recognize that you are not meant for everyone. Take it as a good thing, take it as a bad thing, take it as an L, take it as a W. But the fact is, this is the truth, you are not meant for everyone. You are not meant to be experienced by everyone. You're not meant to be spoken to by everyone. You're not meant to empathically feel through other people's feelings. You're not meant for everyone. This is when you become the standard. Your standard specifically, but you actually embody your standard, because things that you would have to remind yourself and coach yourself through and say, well, this is my standard, and say it out loud, you spiritually, emotionally, and mentally no longer attract those people. You don't attract people like that. They have no resonance to you anymore because you have become the standard. Right? The standard is not just you and your standard, is standard. You. Standard. Same thing. It's not something outside of yourself. It's not something that you have to coach yourself and assume all the time and reiterate like an affirmation. No, you just are the standard at that point. That is what you slowly start actually assuming and becoming when you are on a journey of deeper self-understanding, self-manifestation, self-actualization. Like, you become the standard. Some things like just don't feel the same. Some things don't matter as much. Some things just don't make sense anymore. You stop questioning things that don't make sense. You stop questioning things that do make sense. You just stop questioning things. You just accept that this is just who you are now. It is what it is.